What's up, sports fans? It's Westbrook. You're at the sports buffet. We got a plate full for you today. We're going to start with some pep talk. John Stewart talks Memphis area softball, Memphis area soccer, and then we bring in a special guest from Bartlett High School. As their head coach joins us to talk a little Bartlett baseball. Then after that, all college baseball. We talk SEC, we talk AAC, and more. All that today, right here on the Sports Buffet. Presented to you by 4 Star Sports Week. All right, John Sturdivant is now in the room. What's going on, John?
Looks like a storm is coming through here shortly, about the next hour or so. It looks like by the radar.
Yeah, y'all got it there. We got it up here, man. It's everywhere right now.
Summer thunderstorms are in the forecast all over the country. It looks like too. Yeah.
So, John, we're going to start with a little Memphis prep. What do you want to start with, man? Go ahead.
Man, it looks like it's wearing down in Murfreesboro. It's going down to the last 2 days in different sports. You know, the track and field is still going on. You got the soccer still going on. But you got some area teams still participating in other sports like baseball, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. But some soccer results from Murfreesboro this week was kind of interesting to me, just because the way that these guys competed, you know, getting some other teams that might have more depth on the soccer field. So NBA, we'll start out with NBA. Memphis Business Academy won 4-2 over Harpeth on Tuesday, but they lost a tough one yesterday, 4-1, to be eliminated against a school called CSAS. I have no idea what that stands for. I'm still trying to look that up because I can't find it nowhere right now. But in 2A, you got to see the Millington Trojans, a senior-heavy Millington Trojans team that are led by Chase Michael and McCoy Pugh and a lot of others. But the cool story to hear about Millington, because real quick, Wes, Millington actually went to the state tournament last year as well, and they battled pretty well and going into the semifinals in that one. They beat Chester County on Tuesday, 3-2, after being down 2-0 with 20 minutes to go in the game. And of course, I don't know if you noticed or not, but in overtime in the TSAA, they said there's 2 10-minute overtimes. So it's not whoever scores first. So before I go any further, let me get your thoughts on the overtime rules by the soccer state tournament.
Say that again, John. Sorry.
I said, the Milton Trojans, you know, ended up winning 3-2 after being down 2-0 with 20 minutes to go in the game. But in overtime in the state playoffs, you get 2 10-minute overtimes. I wanted your thoughts on that real quick.
I mean, I get it. I mean, what happens if you play the first one? You're still tied. You got to play another one, right?
Yeah, I can get your point on that. And then it goes to penalty kicks right after that. So Greenville ended up beating Millington 6-0 yesterday to eliminate Millington. And great year in general regarding Millington Trojans, like I just brought up. And maybe we'll have some future guests down the road regarding the Millington soccer program, because some players are playing at the next level in college. 3A, you got Ravenwood 3. Houston lost 3-2 over Ravenwood, and that was Houston's first loss on the season. So what a heartbreaking loss for the Houston Mustangs, because they were senior heavy as well. 2A, you got Boyd Buchanan beating Lausanne yesterday 2-0. And then Christian Brothers beat Father Orion 1-0. And they are playing for Chattanooga McCallie for a 6:30 championship match today. And hopefully the Purple Wave can bring it back to 901 in that one. In softball, there was nobody that participated in our local Memphis area in 1A, 2A. 3A, there was a West Tennessee representative in Dyer County, but they finished 1-1. 4A, oh man, heartbreaking loss for Arlington. They lost to Nolensville 2-0 yesterday or on Tuesday, but they were up yesterday 6-0 against Walker Valley. Ended up losing 12-6. So Walker Valley ended up scoring 12 runs in the last 3 innings to win that game 12-6. 2A, you had nobody participating from the Memphis area, but in 2AA, St. Benedict won 62 over CPA, and they are also playing Chattanooga Baylor as we speak right now, weather permitting, unless they started off late. And they also have a play again at 11 if Baylor loses that game. If not, Sam Bennett will play for a championship later on tonight at Middle Tennessee. They actually moved the softball state championships this year west to the Middle Tennessee State University campus, so the girls can actually experience a live college mound for the first time, and I think who knows how long. So kudos to the state tournament, for that, for putting that together for the girls' state softball players.
Yeah, no doubt. Arkansas is very similar. They do all their uh, state tournaments at University of Central Arkansas. So you've got baseball, softball, all that there too. I think that's smart for states to do that. It gives the players, like just like you just said, it gives them an opportunity to play in a different environment and get a chance to feel what that environment is prior to going to the college level.
Right. And I got some baseball results, but I think we're going to take a quick break, and we'll bring to me, he's been there like 20 plus years, but a good coach and Coach Josh Stewart, a former assistant coach under legendary Coach Phil Clark. So we'll definitely get Coach Josh Stewart some brains on the state tournament that's going on in baseball right now, because there are some elimination games right now as we speak, and they're also playing some games down here in the next couple hours as well.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we be back, we'll bring the head coach of Bartlett Baseball on to talk a little Bartlett Baseball and more right here on the 4-Star Sports Radio Network. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's a sports buffet where we bring a little bit of everything to our sports coverage to you guys. And today we've got a very special guest, Bartlett High School baseball head coach. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Josh, welcome to the show. And Josh Stewart is one of the coaches that's been around for like 20 plus years now in the 901. And Coach Josh Stewart, welcome to the show. And let's tell our listeners a little bit more about Josh, if you don't mind.
What's that?
Let's tell our listeners a little bit more about yourself.
Man, I grew up here, grew up in Memphis, graduated from Kirby High School back in the 90s, and started coaching my junior year in college, and was fortunate enough to coach under Coach Clark, and I've been at Bartlett now for, 23, 24 years, something like that. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, real quick before we talk about some Bartlett High School baseball with you, there's been some interesting games the last couple of days in Murfreesboro in general, and not saying I'm shocked by some of them, but I am kind of like shocked by how some of the Middle Tennessee teams are actually producing. But the 1A, there's no local teams in that one. Unfortunately, there's nobody in 2A that are local. But a team that you're familiar with in 3A, I know we're going to do the West Tennessee part of it, this part, because you see Dyer County year in, year out. But let's talk about the Dyer County Choctaw program, who ended up losing yesterday after winning one game Tuesday, but lost twice yesterday.
I don't know as much about them as I have in the past because we're in two different classifications.
Right.
Used to, they've been a thorn in my side for years, and our program for years. When Coach Osmond was there, and then followed by, Ben, and now Coach Henson. But we did play them this year, and they're a solid ball team. I don't think we faced any of their arms. We kind of both had district games coming up, so I really couldn't tell you much about that. But year in and year out, Dyer County's always a quality baseball team. So,
Right, absolutely.
I can very easily see them bouncing back from that loss yesterday. I mean, they're just that good.
Okay, and then 4A, you got a team that you're also familiar with is the Arlington Tigers. They beat Bradley Central on Tuesday on a no hit. Like they used two pitchers in that game to combine the no hitter. That they get that pitch count rule, so I can understand why they use two pitchers. But that's a quality win on Bradley Central, and it also no hitting them is quite an accomplishment for Arlington's pitching staff and coaching staff.
Yeah, but Jack Hibbert can do that to you. He's not going to Arkansas State for no reason. And I really, to be honest, couldn't tell you what he's going to Arkansas State to do. Is he going as a dual guy? Is he going as a pitcher? Is he going, as an infielder? He's an athlete. So, it's shocking to do that in the state, but it doesn't shock me that he was able to do it. And I understand with the pitch count rules now, now they have him available if they make it to Friday. And whoever comes out of that side on Friday is going to need everything they have, because odds are they're going to face that group from the other side of the state, who, as we all know, is loaded.
Yeah, we're talking about the University of Tennessee Farragut High School. That's what we were talking about.
Coach Buckner, yes. I believe. I really couldn't tell you the number, but I've heard anything from 14 to 16 college guys.
Wow.
On the team. And, and I think I don't know if that's seniors and juniors and everybody included, or just seniors, or I don't know, but they are a college team in themselves, So, and Coach Buckner does a great job. I believe, I said I've been doing this for 23, 24 years, and I can guarantee you they're 15 plus state championships in that time period.
Mm-hmm.
Easy. So, whoever comes out of this other side with Arlington and Nolensville, they're going to have their hands full. But, it's baseball. It's a one game winner take all, and, anything can happen.
Absolutely. And then Arlington bounced back with a great win yesterday over Oak Ridge, 6-3. A pitcher that you're familiar with is Eli DeBerry, the University of Memphis signee. 5 innings pitched, 99 pitches, a little bit high for him, but also he had 8 strikeouts and 2 walks. So a good start for Eli DeBerry. And Carter McKay also got 2 RBIs in that game as well to help them out, I believe, in that one.
Yeah, DeBerry, he's good. He's good. He has had some struggles with the zone a little bit earlier in this year, but people started mentioning that early this season, and my response was the same thing kind of happened last season, and he got better and better as the season went on, and as the games got bigger and bigger. And yesterday he did the same thing. I know his pitch count was high, but you walked 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad, especially when you're striking out as many as he's going to strike out. So, right. Sometimes that wildness can be, effectively wild.
Yeah, so, my apologies. It was actually Jack Pitts with 3 RBIs in that game. The University of Memphis signee as well, but quality at bat for Jack Pitts, an all-around great catcher as well to get 3 RBIs, and that's my apologies on that one.
Yeah, their lineup, top to bottom, is as good as anybody's in the state, probably. They don't strike out a lot. And up and down that lineup, you've got guys that can hurt you. Day one, Slade Williams hits a bomb. And he's hit anywhere from 5 in the order probably to 7. So I mean you look at Tucker Bearden, he's been hitting down in the 8 and 9 for them pretty much all year, and he can leave the yard. So I mean they got pop, they got good athletes, and that's why they're where they are.
Right. Now there's nobody that made it in 2A, but are you kind of surprised that North Point did not go back and repeat?
I am. Of course, I don't. There again, that's a different division that if they're not from around here and we don't play them, I really don't know a whole lot about them. But we did play North Point this year, and they're loaded as usual. So yeah, it did kind of shock me. Um, they're a good program year in and year out.
All right, and then in 2AA, one of the hottest teams right now in the area is called Briarcrest. They beat CPA 14-2, and I brought up with Wes in previous shows, but they also get that 1-2-3 punch on the mound, where Aiden McCready got the start in that first game, 14-2 winners, 3 2/3 pitches or innings. I'm sorry, 75 pitches, but he also had 5 Ks in that one. And then Baylor beat Christian Brothers on Tuesday to make it 6-4. So it's an all-around 901 final because Christian Brothers came out of losing bracket and beat CPA, and then Baylor later on that day yesterday. So Christian Brothers has to beat Briarcrest twice. What is your thoughts on Briarcrest and Christian Brothers playing for a state title, either today or later on today?
It doesn't shock me. Both teams are good. We were supposed to play Christian Brothers this year and didn't get the opportunity, but we did scrimmage them early in the season, and they're, as usual, they're Christian Brothers, good looking athletes with arms, and Briarcrest is the same way. Beating Briarcrest twice is going to be difficult. They've started swinging it a little bit too. Coach Hop does a great job over there, and whichever team wins that is deserving. They both are quality baseball teams.
All right, go ahead, Wes Pruitt. Go ahead with your first question for Coach Josh Stewart.
Coach, I got a question. I was at Bartlett early 2000s, very early 2000s, like 2000 to be exact. Those facilities have changed quite a bit. So talk a little bit about the new facilities and how that not only helps your program, but also helps you be able to bring some of the local talent in.
Well, we, I was here when we were part of the Shelby County system, and the system was so big, and it was kind of one of those situations where you couldn't do for one if you couldn't do it for the other. So when we broke off and became a municipality, things changed. Our Board of Education is concerned about us and concerned about our high school, and they did renovations over there at the high school, and if you were there in 2000, you might not would recognize it if you haven't seen it. It's immaculate, and our baseball facility is off campus, but we have a 7,800 square foot indoor facility with weight room and cages, and it's a night and day difference from that time period. Back when I started off season workouts, we would meet up at the track after school and have to wait on the weight room with football or whatever other sport was in season that might be using it, and it was a different time period. So we would be on that track for 2 hours before we ever got in the weight room. It's just freed up so much more time and so many more opportunities having your own space. And our school system does a good job with that. They take care of their athletics and try to give us the best situation they can to succeed. But it's definitely helped. It's definitely helped.
Coach, when you look at Bartlett High School, you've been there, like you said, right at 25 years now. Legendary coach Phil Clark. We could talk all day about him.
All day.
But what has he meant to not only you as a baseball coach, but you as a man?
Oh, he's been a mentor. He's helped me grow, not only, like you said, as a baseball coach, but as a human being. He's somebody that if I have an issue, not necessarily just with baseball, but in life in general, he's always a phone call away, and I use that. If I want to know, Coach Clark was always, even in his coaching, he was going to do the right thing, and at times he's brutally honest. So, if you know Coach Clark, you'd understand that. So, I can pick up the phone and get an honest opinion and the right opinion. He would tell me what to do the right way and how to handle a certain situation, and he doesn't mind telling me when I'm wrong or when I'm right. So, I don't, like you said, we could talk about his accolades and everything, but I could talk about that all day too. I wouldn't say he's a fatherly figure. He's more of an older brother, and we've had that relationship for years. And he's always been there and always will be. Now, I can't say enough about what the man's done for me in life. Period.
Can you give us
Coach,
your favorite story other than
Josh, I was just about to ask the same question, Josh.
Uh Baseball story. Let's see. It would probably have to be a night at Houston. We were playing Houston, and Coach Clark coached Coach Day, and it was back around 2006, 2007, probably 7 or 8 actually. And we had a man on first base and hit a ball to the wall, and our runner, we couldn't tell if the guy caught the ball or not. And the ball dropped, and of course the runner and myself were watching the ball, but the hitter was double out of the box, and the runner was halfway between first and second, and the hitter crossed the runner. And it was in a very pivotal time of the game, and he let me know it from across the field. And when we got back in the dugout, we had some words and kind of back and forth, because I'm watching the ball with the runner, and it's in right field, so I couldn't watch the hitter too. And we had words and turned around after the words, and Houston had a broadcasting, or actually I think it might have been when one of the news channels were trying to do a game of the week in baseball like they do football. And we turned around, and that camera was right above us. And so, we kind of had to tone it down. But, we always had a thing where if anything got heated between coaches, and this was with everybody, we would always say point made, and it was dropped. And there was a couple point made statements during that night, and we dropped it and went on about our business. That's just kind of the relationship that we all had. There wasn't any egos, and there wasn't any problem telling each other when they did wrong, or when they thought somebody did wrong. But that's kind of the way Coach Clark made things. It was more like a family than it was a baseball program, and that's why I've stayed here. Now I coach with. We have so many guys that come back. I mean, you look at this coaching staff. Coach Gore's been here for since I started coaching. Coach Grisham played for Coach Clark and myself. Little Coach Clark, Zach, played for us. Coach Wright, Coach Floyd. All those guys are ex-players here, and that's because of that's the way Coach Clark made it. It was a family atmosphere, and we still are.
Coach, when you look at this year's team, of course, you had some ups, you had some downs. You definitely competed. That's for sure. Nobody that watched this Bartlett baseball team this year can't say you didn't compete. What are some things that you can take from this year and use not only next year but going forward?
This team's record does not really show how good they were. Early in the season, we lost a bunch of games that we either had a lead or were tied in the fifth or later. And, there were some games I made some bad pitch calls, and when I made a bad pitch call, we paid for it. Ball got hit out of the park. That's part of it. But this group, especially this group of seniors, they always battled. They always came ready to work. They never pouted, and they were successful. They were a lot better baseball team than people imagine. People don't really, I don't think, understand how difficult this district really is. Um, it can go anybody's way any year. I mean, you look. I want to say maybe the last two seasons prior to this one, um, the number one seed in the regular season uh, did make it out. So I'll put it to you this way: we've been to the state tournament a bunch, and I don't know that we've ever been in one of the 14 pools that's as tough as our district can be. Honestly, now it's gotten better over the years with the new playoff system, with kind of the regionals and then the sectionals being a 2 out of 3 game series. But back in the day, it was a win Monday and win Friday, one game winner take all. And so you didn't always have the best teams in the state tournament. A team could get in with the best arm. Now that's a little bit different. But in some of the years that we've been, the 4 teams in our pool in the state tournament have not been as tough as the district that we're in now. I mean, you look, Guyville, I don't know what their record is, but 30 something and 15 maybe. Houston's almost a 30-win team. I mean, it's just Arlington's 30 something and 6, or it's just any of those teams could go to that state tournament and compete right now. They're that good, and their coaches do a great job, and the program's been, that's why they're as successful as they are. So, this team was a lot better than what their record showed. I can put it to you that way. And we beat a bunch of good teams. We did. We battled with a bunch of good teams. We played Nolensville and Murfreesboro. We got beat 9-7. They're a quality baseball team. So we play a very tough schedule. And but this group battled and competed, and I hate to see these seniors go, because they're not only are they great baseball players, but they're great kids, boys, young men. So it was a successful season in that regard.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, you got to talk about your senior just for like a second or two. Let's talk about the Parker Jacksons, the Reese Ellingtons. The list goes on. Just talk about your seniors in general. I know some of them are going to be playing ball at the next level, so just talk about your seniors, how special this group was as well.
Let's see. I want to say they're 6 and 9 playing at the next level. But really, the character of these young men, they didn't pout when things went bad. They picked each other up. They handled a lot of adversity. They showed up every day to work. I mean, I just can't say enough about the character of these young men. And they're going to be successful at the next level. They're just great kids, and I hate to see a group like that go. To be honest, I really do. They compete. But they got to go. I mean, they go on, and they're up to bigger and better things. So I'm excited to see what the future has for these boys.
What is the game plan for a coach when it's a Houston Bartlett game, loser goes home, and you don't see a Chandler Day come on the mound at all? And it shocked the whole state of Tennessee, really, to be honest with you, in that game.
Man,
the result was an upset or a shock, but just to, just not see Chandler Day on that mound, and that's the game plan going forward.
Well, to be honest, they did the right thing. I know that people aren't going to believe that, and they're not going to understand that because they didn't advance, but they did. They knew that if they beat us, they were going to have to face Ari. And, if you want your best chance to advance, and that's what they were looking at. They weren't looking at that one game. If you want your best chance to advance, you had to win too. You had to beat us, and then you had to turn around and beat Collierville with Ari on the mound. And the best opportunity for them to do that was to have Chandler against Ari. And, you could say, well, Chandler didn't get to throw and Chandler didn't get to do this. And I agree with that, but they didn't score but one run. And that's what hurt them. Now, could Chandler shut us out? Yeah, he could. There ain't no doubt about that. But, I thought that what they did gave them the best opportunity to advance to a sectional, and so did they, and they went with it. And I don't think they made the wrong decision. In hindsight, they did, but at the time, I don't think it was the wrong decision, to be honest.
Good, Wes.
Coach, a lot of baseball is situational, as you were just talking about. And you can have, and you're well aware of this, you can have the best pitcher on the mound, but if you don't have run support, that pitcher's really not doing anything for you besides shutting down the other team. How important is it to have an offense that's able to not only produce runs, but have timely hitting?
Well, it's just as important as the rest of it. Like you just said, you can put that arm out there, but you got to be able to defend and you got to be able to score. And Houston was capable of doing that. Something that kind of did end up benefiting us is Tylen Graves threw that game, and Houston didn't get the opportunity to see Tylen. And then Tylen threw, the game of the year that he's thrown. He was good for us all year. His record wouldn't prove it because we didn't score any runs for him. He lost a bunch of one-run games because our offense didn't show up. And he was able to go in there and throw enough pitches and shock some people with some fastballs and do some things like that that was able to hold them to one run. And that's essentially why they got beat, because he did such a great job on the mound and we played defense behind him. And they made two errors. They threw a ball away at first and mishandled a bunt. And, that's baseball. That's what I'm saying. That can happen in any game, especially in this district. It doesn't matter if you're a 1 seed playing a 4 seed or you're a 2 seed playing a 4 seed. It really doesn't matter. If that other team plays a cleaner game, then you can get beat.
Go ahead, John.
Josh, do you know, this is my last question. I know you're going to be pretty busy throughout the day and whatnot, but my last question is, do you have any summer camps that you want to promote right now or anything like that yet?
I do. We're running our summer camp June 17th through the 20th from 9 to 12 out here at the field. There's really no pre-register. There's a form on our Facebook page that you can fill out and bring with you. It will not fill up, and it's an opportunity for us to work with little kids, and I actually enjoy that week. I do. Seeing all the kids out here having fun, as long as it's not 130 degrees, it's usually a great week.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job as always, Coach Stewart, and thank you again for coming on with us this week, this early morning. I know you're going to enjoy this nasty weather that's coming through in here a little bit, and it's coming. But yeah.
Oh, it's here, because I had trouble hearing y'all at first, so it's here, and I don't think it's going anywhere for a few days. So,
go ahead, Wes.
Well, Coach, thank you very much for coming on. We enjoyed your insight, your look back into Bartlett High School baseball history, and we hope to get you on in the future as well.
I appreciate you guys having me. Y'all do a great job.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
John, what an interview with Bartlett High baseball head coach. Man, he is knowledgeable in numerous ways, and then I think it's very, very unique and honestly pretty cool, man, because you had legendary Phil Clark and then you have a guy that just slides in right behind Coach Clark, that's able to just come in and keep on playing ball. It's a very unique thing. It's something that you really don't see very often. John, something else we don't see very often, and that is the top 4 teams of the SEC lose. Well, we did. We saw it yesterday. It's the first time it's happened since 2010. And you got the top 4 teams are now in the losers bracket. Arkansas is currently playing Kentucky, currently trailing 2-0. They pulled Hagen Smith in the 3rd inning through 38 pitches. They keep going to Hagen on the TV broadcast like he's gonna come back in the game or something. I don't understand why they keep showing him. I get it. You know what I mean? Like I get it, but there's no need to just keep on showing this kid. Kentucky's probably getting ready. Oh, that's 3rd out right there. Yeah, 2-0, heading to the top of the 4th in that ball game. But John, we have seen some heroic matchups from Mississippi State, a team that we talked about the other day that is a team to keep an eye on, that they could play good baseball, has good hitters, has good pitching, has depth. And we would see Mississippi State send Ole Miss home on a walk-off. It's the 10th walk-off home run in the SEC tournament since the 1989 season. So they set a little bit of history there. But man, I mean, there's been history made. Mississippi State, LSU yesterday has the only team in the SEC tournament that's ever hit 2 grand slams in the same game. They absolutely shellacked Kentucky yesterday. And then former guest Chad Zurcher is probably not real having a good day today. Vanderbilt absolutely put it on Tennessee. I mean, that was shocking. What's your thoughts on just not only day one but yesterday?
So far on day one, not shocked by the outcome, really, because we picked Georgia, but just the way that Georgia didn't really hit the ball in that one, but LSU just capitalized pretty well in that one. That's day one. Day one was good, just LSU surprising by everybody just pitching well and then hitting the ball pretty well. And then Vanderbilt beating Florida is not a real shock because, like I told you earlier in the week, you had 2 great coaching matchups in that one, and 2 great teams in that one. But hey, give South Carolina a lot of love too. They beat Alabama on Tuesday, and then they beat Arkansas yesterday. But South Carolina's coming ready to play, and they're still hot right now as we speak. And then, like you brought up, Mississippi State walking it off in the 9th inning against Ole Miss 2-1. And what better way to beat your rival on that 2-run home run as well. And yesterday, just like you brought up, a shock. Tennessee lost the way they did because I thought, Tennessee pitching and Tennessee hitting like hitters would probably get tired of the Whistler, and and the Whistler kept on whistling all day yesterday, throughout the day, and then this great win for Mississippi State beating A&M. It just wants to show Mississippi State desperately wants one of those regionals in Starkville with the home crowd against them. And then today so far, like you brought up, Kentucky's up 2-0 against Arkansas in an elimination game, and it looks like the Arkansas batters can't hit, and they also got 2 errors so far on the game. So Arkansas definitely needs to score some runs if they want to stay in this one.
Man, runners in scoring position. It's a stat that has absolutely just been a black cloud over this Arkansas baseball team all year. We saw it earlier in the game. You got runners at the corners, 2 outs, and you can't produce a run. Like I said, it's something that this team. It has been a bugaboo. It has been something that has been talked about. I laugh at people who's like, oh, well, it's obvious that the top 4 teams don't care about this useless tournament. This tournament and all conference tournaments for that matter, they're not useless. I'm confused on the logic of, I understand the reasoning of, oh, we want to save our pitchers. Oh, we've got such and such. We've got regional coming up. I get that. It's still your conference tournament. It's still a conference tournament championship if you win it. Like Tennessee did 2 years ago, Vanderbilt, Arkansas. And I mean, I understand everybody wants to throw the stat out. Well, the last 3 tournament winners have only won a combined 1 game or the last three national champions who have all come out of the SEC West have only won a combined one game in Hoover. I don't care. That means nothing to me. I know this tournament matters. If it didn't matter, you wouldn't see South Carolina celebrate the way they have. If it didn't matter, you wouldn't see Mississippi State celebrate the way they have. If it didn't matter, you wouldn't see Hagen Smith constantly shown on TV today because he's upset because they pulled him out of the game. So you mean to tell me that Hagen Smith's like, oh, it's fine, I'll just get ready for regional? No. Hagen Smith wants to continue pitching. So does every team. Dave Van Horn said yesterday, we want to play well in Hoover. You know what that tells me? That tells me David is not going, well, let's just go 0-2 and go back to Fayetteville, guys. Guarantee you Chad Zurcher, Tony Vitello are not like, all right, guys, let's just lose today's game. Screw it. Let's go back to Knoxville. None of these coaches are telling their teams that. So why do fans seem to think this, John?
I have no idea, to be honest with you, because I think, like you said, players, or not the players, but the fans just wanted to say, hey, we already got this regional or super regional locked up. Let the players enjoy something like this, because it's once in a lifetime thing to see. See your rival or something like that. Like, for example, Tennessee's playing a rival today. It's not really a rival, but still, it's like it's always an intense game between them two. But yeah, I just don't get it between fans. I think fans just, I'm speechless on them, to be honest with you right now. I'm just shocked by it. I'm tired of people saying stuff on social media about it. And I'm definitely, it gets in the players' heads at times too. That's what gets me as well. But let the players enjoy it, man. Let them have fun. They're out of school, for crying out loud.
The same fans that are complaining and using that term or that phrase after a loss are the same fans that would be like, I can't believe we threw a pitcher yesterday because we got a regional to get ready for. What's this coach doing? Who is he going to throw tomorrow? Let's throw bullpen guys. Guess what? Yesterday was Wednesday. Pretty much every coach in that tournament yesterday used yesterday as a midweek game to keep their same rotation and same pitchers ready for the same days they've been pitching essentially all season, especially in conference play.
Right.
Did nobody realize that? I mean, it just blows my mind, man. It's really and truly, it's whatever's convenient to say at that time. Did they win? Yes. Okay, let's say this to make us feel better. Did they lose? Yeah. Okay, let's say this. It's okay. No one cares. It's a meaningless tournament. If it's meaningless, then Hoover, Alabama is not putting millions of dollars into that baseball stadium every year. And that's a fact.
And shout out to the grounds crew as well over there. They don't, they work long nights and long days as well. So shout out to them.
Dude, the dirt guys is what they call them. They're in Hoover. There's about, I think there's 12 of them, 8 to 12. But yeah, every single game, the second that game ends, they're scraping chalk. They're getting new chalk down. They're getting the mound tamped. They're getting everything taken care of. And it is game ready for that next game. And to your point, man, they are there. I mean, right, the first game was at 9:30 this morning. So I think the last game, first pitch tonight, is 8 p.m. So, I mean, you're looking at another 11 o'clock midnight night down in Hoover, Alabama for college baseball.
And then getting up there probably at 7 o'clock as well.
Oh, yeah, at least. I mean, at least 7 o'clock. Because, I mean, most of these teams are coming out an hour, 2 hours before game and getting warm up and all that.
Okay, yeah. Team hitting for Arkansas right now is 3 for 14 with 3 singles. What I've noticed also in this past inning, Arkansas swinging at a lot of first pitches as well, and it's crazy, man. Just like I just never they are showing up again on TV, but man, Arkansas just definitely needs to get some runs. They want to see another game tomorrow, and it's gonna be an interesting rest of the day. I know that for a fact. So, what's your predictions for the rest of this today, other than this game right here?
Man, I think LSU continues to roll. Um, LSU's just playing really good baseball right now. And, I mean, there's so many good games. I mean, gosh, I am telling you, watch out for Mississippi State, man. That team is their ninth inning has been heroic. The same guy who hit the walk-off home run to beat Mississippi State hit the single last night to score, hit the single last night to score the 2 runs. He got 2 RBIs on that hit to give Mississippi State the 6-4 lead going to the bottom of the ninth. So I mean, you look at this Mississippi State team; they are playing really good baseball. Chris Lemonis is a really good coach, and I mean, let's not forget about South Carolina. South Carolina has come in and proved to everyone that not only are they an NCAA tournament team, but there's a reason that just a few weeks ago they were in line to host. Period. I mean, they're a good baseball team. Kentucky's now up 3-0 after a solo home run out to right center.
Wow.
Bottom of the fourth now. And that's the thing with this Arkansas team. That's what I don't. I mean, like you said, they've hit 3 singles the whole game. They could very well come up in the top of the 5th and score 5 runs. I mean, this team is very helter-skelter offensively. They've got guys like Kendall Diggs who have been struggling lately. But now I will say this about Kendall. He is the master of, if you need a walk, he'll get you that walk. He does whatever he has to do to get on base. He's got great batter's vision. This has been a great tournament, man. I mean, to Greg Sankey's point last night when he said he thinks this tournament is at or even with Omaha. I think he's in the ballpark there. No pun intended. Because this is exciting. I mean, you look at day 1, that place was packed. And then yesterday, and then now you're in the double elimination. So think about it, John. 2 of the top 4 teams, which are 2 of the top 5 teams in the nation, are going to go home being sent home by 2 of the other top 4 teams. That's I mean, obviously it's the only 5th time it's ever happened, but that tells me this is not a meaningless tournament once again.
What's your thoughts on Ole Miss, the way they finished the year in general, and what's your thoughts on Bianco's future at Ole Miss?
I know there's a lot of Ole Miss fans that would like Mike Bianco gone. I don't know. You know, I mean, I'm not an athletic director. I know they struggled this year. They're not going to make the NCAA tournament. I don't think. I don't think they will. I don't think they do. I mean, if they do, I'll be surprised.
Right.
But I think his seat's probably a little warm right now. And like I said, I know for sure. I know of Ole Miss fans that are like essentially waving bye to the guy as the ball went out of the park the other night. I've talked with a couple of them too. That I mean, they said the same. You know, some of the same things that us and Eli talked about is, you know, pitching's been an issue, and it's not gotten better. I mean, they compete. You know what I mean? I mean, there's not a baseball team out there that doesn't compete. I mean, you look at the game against Mississippi State. That's a hell of a baseball game. One of the best, probably one of the best games we've seen played in this tournament, honestly. Yesterday was kind of a day of slackings, man. I really wasn't expecting it. To see, I mean, besides the Mississippi State game, I think every other game was pretty well a blowout. This Kentucky team's good. I mean, they're possibly the number 1 team in the tournament. Now, you don't want to be the number 1. At least I don't want to be the number 1 team in the tournament. No number 1 seed has won the national championship. No overall number 1 has won in Omaha since 1999 when Miami did it. I would rather be number 2 or number 3 seed or even number 5 seed, whatever. As long as you're hosting, and then you've got that shot to host a super as well, if you can get out of the regional, which, as we've seen in the past, is not the easiest thing to do, right?
Right. Man, there's been some interesting matchups in the ACC tournament as well. Real quick, I know Clemson is playing Miami as we speak right now, and North Carolina is playing Pittsburgh. Duke is going to be playing North Carolina later on today. But they do things a lot differently in the ACC, and they do it by pool play. Who would have thought it, right? Since there's 12 teams that qualify. Right now in Pool A, you get North Carolina 0-0, Wake Forest 1-0. And Wake Forest is a great story this year as well. They're going to be battling for the top 5 overall national seeds. Pittsburgh's 0-1, Clemson 0-0, 0-1 Louisville. Miami is 1-0. Could Miami surprise a lot of people going forward in that ACC tournament and make the tournament as an at-large? That's going to be interesting. Then Pool C, North Carolina State 1-0, Duke 1-0, Virginia Tech 0-2, Pool D, Virginia 1-0, Florida State 1-0, and Georgia Tech 0-2. So, what's your thoughts on the ACC tournament, real quick? Who do you see that, or who do you see as surprise that maybe can make some noise after pool play?
Well, one thing that we hadn't even really talked about, and that is the bid stealer, right?
Right.
So the obvious is Wake Forest is going to be in the tournament. Like you said, they're battling for a top 5. Got probably the second best pitcher in the nation right now. It's probably 1A, 1B, whatever, with Hagen Smith. Some people out there would say that Chase Burns is the best pitcher in the country. I mean, those are going to be your first 2 pitchers taken off the board in the NBA draft. I'm sorry, NFL. Damn it, MLB draft coming up soon. But yeah, I mean, you look at. I didn't understand the pool play, but now that I've kind of sat back and looked at it, I kind of like it. It's different. It makes your conference unique. And to your point, I think it seemed like a Miami. I think it seemed like a 2-0 Florida State. Teams such as that could become bid stealers. And that's when everything changes quickly, very quickly for that conference. And I mean, we talked about it, the American just the other day. I mean, did you see East Carolina scoring 12 runs in the bottom of the 8th to come back and beat number 8 Rice in that tournament?
Did you see UAB go 0-2?
I did. I wasn't going to bring it up, but you did.
I had them winning the first game and then, go from there.
Yeah, I mean, all these conference tournaments have been a blast. I mean, obviously today, like I said, you're going to have 2 teams go home. And then you'll have the winners of tonight's games going against the loser. So the winner of the Kentucky-Arkansas game will play the loser of South Carolina-LSU. That's going to be a battle, man. That's going to be an exciting game. Then you have the winner of A&M and Mississippi, Tennessee play the loser of Mississippi State. And for some reason, my mind has gone blank as to who they play now. But yeah, this tournament's going to be exciting. The American tournament's going to be exciting. The ACC is going to be exciting. I mean, even you get down to the Ohio Valley. I mean, I saw UT Martin was battling with somebody the other day. All these tournaments are going on around the nation, and they're all exciting. But I will say this. Speaking of the ACC, John, I think that is the most beautiful backdrop for any conference tournament I've seen all year. The skyline of Charlotte behind that stadium is beautiful.
Yeah, I love it. They have it there every year. There's a reason it's there every year. Kind of reminds you a little bit of First Horizon Park down in downtown Nashville, where the Nashville Sounds play, because you got buildings, you got apartment buildings, you name it, hotels even in Charlotte, probably right behind the stadium. They can field the teams as well, and it's absolutely stunning to see it back in Charlotte once again this year.
So, John, quickly here, who are some teams in these tournaments that you think could possibly steal a bid?
Oh, man. There's a lot to name, but the team that tops my head right now is going to be the Austin Peay Governors. just the way they have competed all year. Heck, they even got some great midweek series games under their belt and competed in those. So I'll go with the Austin P Governor just because they have some quality wins under their belt. And don't be surprised if they do still like a large bid from somebody in the bigger conferences like a Miami. And I would love to see an Austin P Governor. Maybe heck, I can see Austin P competing. If they go to the Knoxville Regional, I can see an Austin P Tennessee matchup in that second round.
Very true. And I mean, like in the case of the SEC, I mean, is there a bid stealer? Because they're expecting to get 11 teams, which would be an all-time record for most teams out of one conference. So I mean, really, I mean, Ole Miss is out now, so I mean that you're not really stealing a bid per se. Now you may help your cause. Like if you're South Carolina and you mess around and win this tournament, I mean, I don't know if they're going to host, but I think that you would have to probably talk about them, right?
What's that? You're breaking up just a little bit on my end. I'm sorry.
South Carolina. So, like, let's say, hypothetically speaking, South Carolina runs the table, wins the tournament, right?
Right.
Does that give them a host possibility, or they're still going to have to visit wherever they play in region?
Right now, they haven't predicted to go to the Clemson Regional on a lot of sites I've been looking at. But to be honest with you, I think if they do win this SEC tournament, I think they do host because, heck, you got some great wins in the SEC tournament. And it definitely does help your RPI in the conference tournament to get some quality wins like you have right now. And I think you're going to basically see South Carolina maybe right now their RPI is probably like in the 20s or 30s right now. And if it does finish like in the early like 21, 20 range, I can see them hosting definitely in that first regional spot and maybe taking the at-large spot from somebody in that regional host site.
Yeah, the last time we had 4 teams all lose same day SEC was 2010, like I talked about earlier. And lo and behold, the number 8 seed LSU was a team that won that tournament. I mean, let's just be honest. South Carolina's playing good baseball right now. LSU's on a damn heater. Those boys are just playing ball. You could very well see LSU make a run. If LSU wins today, then look out. You know what I mean? Like they're hot right now. And I mean, let's not forget, one of these top 4 seeds could still make a run. I mean, we could still see Kentucky make a run. We could still see Tennessee make a run. We could still. I mean, Arkansas could come back and win this game. So A&M could still make a run. Georgia, when you look at Georgia, like we talked about earlier, we picked them to win. They did not. I still think Georgia hosts. I mean, I think D1 baseball has got them sitting at the 8 seed, which is that final host spot, and I think they still host. I think their resume throughout the year honestly shows that they should host. But man, the Bartlett High baseball coach was great, John. That guy was amazing. His insight into the program, his knowledge of the program over the past 25 years, was really, it's really unmatched. Baseball is a great time of year. You got the Northwest Arkansas Naturals. They're at home right now, taking on the Amarillo Sod Poodles. That is a AA affiliate of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And a Sod Poodle, because I asked, a Sod Poodle is essentially like a little, I'm trying to think of what you would call it, John. It's like a, the little rat looking things that like burrow and stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Right. Yeah.
Kind of like a prairie dog. If you know what a prairie dog. They just hit another home run. It is 4-0 Kentucky. Gage Wood just gave up his second jack of the day. Left center again. They like that left center out there. But yeah, man, Arkansas now trails 4-0. That was a 420-foot home run. It was 104 miles an hour coming off the bat. That bad boy was gone the second it came off the bat. Yeah, he smoked it, no doubt. Arkansas trails 4-0 in Game 1 of the SEC. Looks like the Razorbacks could potentially be going home. I mean, we're only in the fifth inning, so there's still time. And as we saw yesterday, Arkansas can put runs on the board if they can just continue to hit and keep the runners moving instead of leaving them on base. But John, man, I know baseball season is probably one of your favorite seasons of the year. So when you look at the conference tournament into Omaha, do you think this is rivaling maybe March Madness as the most exciting time of the year for sports?
Yeah, absolutely. Other than the cultural playoff right now, yeah. I would say,
well, we haven't experienced 12 yet. I mean, honestly, at 4 was that not true. That freaking exciting.
Very true, very true. Which we'll talk about more tomorrow on the college football talk. But yeah, definitely, I think, especially these postseason matchups that you see in these tournaments, you see a lot of, like we talked about, a lot of rivalry baseball in these tournaments. Not only in the first round, but you see them in elimination games and that type of stuff. But also, that's how exciting it really is compared to March Madness, because you see a lot of rivalries go off from each other. And then you got a lot of coaching matchups that you would definitely love to see and all that. And another conference real quick before we get off here that nobody really talks about is the new Conference USA baseball real quick, Wes, because don't forget, Dallas Baptist is still around, and they could somebody's at-large bid as well going forward. So another team real quick was Dallas Baptist and Louisiana Tech are the top two right now in the Conference USA that could very well still somebody's at-large bid going into the NCAA tournament selection show on Monday.
And also, speaking of CUSA, great point on those two teams. But they're welcoming a school in Missouri State that can compete in numerous sports starting next year, John.
Yeah,
Missouri State coming to the baseball side of things is going to be very exciting for that conference.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, I'm not surprised by it because I think Missouri, like you said, Missouri State is competitive in softball, soccer, baseball, you name it, and they're definitely, they're no joke at all regarding sports in general. And I think it's going to help them recruiting as well down the road in all sports as well.
Oh, yeah, 100%, man, 100%. And I mean, to see them make the jump from the Ohio Valley up to CUSA, it's a big jump. And congratulations to them. They definitely earned it. And I mean, seeing like the James Madison of the world come over and join, the CUSA too. I mean, it's really exciting to watch these teams make jumps, make leaps. And like I said, we'll get more into college football tomorrow. But man, yeah, this has been the Sports Buffet Thursday edition. We did a little morning session. You got a little bacon, got a little eggs here. Currently watching some conference tournament baseball. Also, John, we'll talk about this tomorrow, but the Mavericks got a big win last night, 108-105 over the Timberwolves. We'll get into that a little bit tomorrow too. But yeah, currently watching a little college baseball. Kentucky leads Arkansas 4-0. Bottom of the fifth inning with a 1-out runner on first base. I thought that guy caught the ball out in the outfield, but he didn't. The ball ended up squirting out. I'm about to start keeping tabs how many times we're showing Hagen Smith this game. You could almost make a drinking game, a really early in the morning drinking game out of it. You see Hagen Smith, take a drink. But yeah, no, Hoover's exciting. Charlotte's really exciting right now. St. Pete down in or Clearwater, down in Florida is very exciting. Shout out Jeff Brightwell too, man. Before we get off here, that guy calls every game. Every time I turn that conference tournament on, Jeff's talking to me. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he has a voice after this. And I mean, I guess baseball season's over with, so he can relax. But yeah, shout out Jeff Brightwell, man. Big time. He does a great job for the University of Memphis baseball. now. Been with that program for, I think, 24, 25 years now. 23rd, I guess, 24th, something. But then to go immediately finish the Memphis game, shoot down to Clearwater, be able to have the knowledge of all these players. And I understand you have, sheets in front of you and all that, but still, to have the knowledge, you gotta practice how to say these guys' names and such. So shout out Jeff, man. I don't know if Jeff's listening out. We may tag him, whatever. But man, yeah, definitely shout out Jeff Brightwell as we close this up.
Yeah, Jeff Brightwell, one of the greatest out there, and yeah, I guess he's got a lot of skyline or airline miles too on his belt. But yeah, definitely traveling from all over. Yeah, like you said, finished the game Saturday and then probably took the first straight flight out on Sunday morning or whenever on Sunday to get ready for Clearwater. And like you said, kudos to Jeff Brightwell. Does a great job, not only for Memphis, but he also does a great job for other sports and other teams across the country as well.
Yep, no doubt. We'll be back tomorrow. Talk a little college football. We'll get into Memphis Tiger football. We'll also talk a little Arkansas Razorback football, and then we'll talk a little MLB. All that and more tomorrow on the Sports Buffet. Thank you to everybody watching and listening. As always, we've been live on our YouTube channel and over on the X, the AKA Twitter machine over there. But we thank you to the Bartlett High School baseball coach for coming on with us. Great guest today. And we look forward to much, much more right here on the Sports Buffet, presented to you by 4 Star Sports Media.